Hi, the Tyke from Groovy Entertainment. Today we got another book on tape to play for you. Today book is Gabby Bear tells the story. Willie the World's First Unit Goat for 1985. So let's get started.
Hi, I'm Gabby Bear. I'm sure glad you turned my magic button because now I can tell you a fun and exciting story. And at the same time, I'd like to be your very special friend. Every time you hear this tone, it means it's time to turn the page in your storybook so you can read along with me. Before I tell you my great story, I'd like to tell you how I got my magic story button. I found it in the dark forest. You see, that place is real spooky. The trees there are tall and dark, and all kinds of strange animals live there. Most of them are the unfriendly type. But not everything is creepy and bad in the dark forest. There's a stream that runs through it. I call it the magical stream, 'cause that's where I found my magic button. One day, I was getting a drink when I saw this pretty round flat stone in the water. It was shiny and changed colors all the time. I couldn't resist picking it up. And then a weird thing happened. It jumped from my hand and stuck right to me. Then another funny thing happened. I began to talk, and I haven't stopped talking since. That's why they call me Gabby Bear. And ever since then, I've been able to tell real good stories. Right now, I'm going to tell you a story full of adventure about my good friend Willie Goat and how he became the world's first unigoat. Are you ready? Here goes. Willie Goat was raised on a small goat farm in the country. Willie had all he could eat, plenty of other goats to play with. Well, it was a pretty good life. That is, until Farmer Grumbles decided to buy him. Now, this Farmer Grumbles was known as a grumpy old fuddy-duddy. And you could see him coming a mile away because he had the brightest red overalls you ever saw. And his pickup truck was all beat up and rusty. Farmer Grumbles bought Willie and another goat named Bully. Willie was looking forward with excitement to his new home. But things didn't work out so good. While Farmer Grumbles was driving Willie and Bully to his farm in his pickup truck, Bully started picking on Willie. Willie told me about it.
Willie got his name from being a bully to the other goats. He always started trouble and fights.
Well, one thing led to another, and before you knew it, Willie and Bully were butting horns with one another. Their horns smacked together every time they met. Oh, it was an awful battle, and it ended with Bully knocking one of Willie's horns right off his head. Willie was beside himself when he exclaimed,
Bully's horns were the hardest I ever butted. It wasn't fair.
Poor Willie. All he could do was look back out of Farmer Grumble's pickup truck and see his horn laying on the road in the distance. And then, to make matters worse, a big hawk swooped down from the sky and picked up Willie's horn in his beak. Willie was in a state of shock, helpless as to what to do. The hawk flew into a large grouping of trees and disappeared from sight into the dark forest. Willie thought to himself,
Who ever heard of a goat with one horn? This is a lousy deal.
at Farmer Grumble's farm, which is located near the dark forest, Willie and Bully met all of the animals. Most of them were goats. You see, Farmer Grumbles likes goats. They seem to be all over the place. Rumor had it, Farmer Grumbles loved goat milkshakes. Things looked pretty bad for Willie, because none of the other goats wanted to be his friend. It was because he only had one horn. Willie tried to tell the others,
I'm just like you. I lost my horn, that's all. You don't have to treat me like a black sheep.
but the other goats wouldn't listen to Willie. Instead, they made up a nasty song about him. It went something like this. Willie looks real silly. He was born without a horn. Makes no difference, we all agree. Friends with him we don't want to be. Well, you can imagine how Willie Goat felt when he heard this song. The tears came to his eyes as he stood all alone in one corner of the corral. But my friend is the determined type. He doesn't let things get him down for long. If he put his mind to it, he could move mountains. And he thought,
if it's the last thing I do, I'm gonna find my horn.
Willie eyed Farmer Grumble's fence, knowing that was the only thing standing between him and finding his lost horn. He puffed his chest out, snorted a few times, then charged that fence with a mighty force. Willie Goat knocked a hole in it big enough for an elephant to get through, and quick as his hooves would carry him, Willie ran off into the woods nearby. As he ran, you could hear him cry out,
Yahoo! I'm free to go find my horn.
Unfortunately, Farmer Grumble saw Willie escape, and he wasn't happy about it. He shouted out after Willie,
Come on back here, Willie Goat, or I'll make goat soup out of you.
The other goats looked on, thinking Willie had gone silly.
Wow, Willie's really acting weird. He must think he's a wild goat now.
Willie was wild, all right. Wild about getting his lost horn back. And Farmer Grumbles was just as wild about getting Willie back. Grumbles jumped into his pickup truck and raced after Willie with Bully Goat riding in the rear. They went across the field and into the woods. This is when I decided it was time for me to help Willie find his horn. At first I thought it was going to be a snap, but Farmer Grumble started chasing both of us. And he almost caught us. You should have heard him when he shouted,
Willie Goat, you get back to the farm. And you, Gabby Bear, I'm gonna put you in the zoo.
We ran as fast as we could through the woods. We jumped over logs and bushes. At one point, we even had to wade through the magical stream. And all this time, Farmer Grumbles was chasing us in his pickup with Bully in the back. The truck bounced along the ground, and the more it bounced, the more angry old Grumbles became. Well, Willie Goat and I finally got away from Farmer Grumbles, at least for a while. I knew this wouldn't last long, 'cause Farmer Grumbles isn't the type to give up a goat very easy. Willie and I stopped at my house. Well, it really isn't a house. You see, most bears prefer a hollowed-out log or a cave for a home. But me, I found this neat old car in the woods. I guess nobody wanted it anymore. So I turned it into a great place to live. And Willie Goat thought so too. He told me,
What a great pad you've got, Gabby.
he was right. I've got a neat home. Padded seats to sleep on, a buddy seat for company, and a glove compartment where I store my blueberries. That's right, blueberries. I love 'em. And so does Willie Goat. 'Cause when I was busy getting my binoculars to help us find Willie's lost horn, he ate every blueberry I had. He was smacking his lips when he told me,
These are the best blueberries I've ever eaten.
Willie had a good laugh when I told him they came from Farmer Grumble's farm. Well, Willie and I went into the dark forest where Willie saw the hawk take his horn. Using my binoculars, I searched the treetops for the hawk. At first I didn't see a thing, and Willie Goat was starting to feel pretty sad again. He said to me in a very discouraged voice,
What a bummer. We'll never find my horn. I just know it.
For a moment I thought Willie Goat was right, but just then I spotted the hawk that took Willie's horn. He was sitting on his nest, high in the tallest tree around, and there it was in plain sight, Willie's horn. The hawk was using it as a stick in his nest. Willie and I couldn't help but jump for joy. Willie cried out,
Yahoo! We found my horn! But how are we going to get it down, Gabby?
Willie had a point, but he forgot us bears are known for our tree climbing. Still, it wouldn't be simple. You see, this particular hawk had a reputation of not welcoming strangers. I had to figure out a way to trick the hawk to leave his nest so I could climb the tree and get Willie's horn. I pride myself in being crafty. Well, at least my friends think I am, so I set a plan. Using my paws and Willie Goat's hooves, we dug up a batch of worms. Then we set them in plain view for the hawk to see. It worked. The hawk flew from his nest and swooped down after the worms. And while he did, I scampered up the tree and snatched Willie Goat's horn. Willie was sure happy when I gave him his horn. A tear welled in his eye when he said to me,
I'll never be able to thank you enough for helping me, Gabby Bear.
"It's always been my great pleasure to help somebody who's in trouble." Well, just when we thought we were home free, Farmer Grumbles came racing after Willie and me in his pickup truck. Bully Goat was still riding in the back. Willie held his horn in his mouth as we ran down a country road as fast as we could go. Then something terrible happened. Willie's horn fell from his mouth. I'll never forget the sound of his voice when he exclaimed,
Wait! I dropped my horn!
Before we could pick up the horn, Farmer Grumbles accidentally ran over it with his pickup truck, and the sharp point of the horn popped one of his tires. The truck swerved wildly and landed in the ditch. The sudden stop caused Bully Goat to fly out of the pickup and land in a big mud puddle. Farmer Grumbles and Bully were okay, but Willie's horn was smashed. Willie cried out,
Oh no! My horn is a total loss. What am I gonna do?
Well, of course, the first thing we had to do was get away from Farmer Grumbles before he fixed his tire and started chasing us again. And so we did. High on a hilltop, Willie Goat and I stopped running and decided to rest. By this time, Willie Goat was sure the whole world was against him, and he would forever be the brunt of jokes because of his missing horn. Willie Goat really sounded down in the dumps when he stated,
Now I know how Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer felt.
I felt sorry for Willie and didn't want to see him feeling so bad. Then an idea took me by surprise. It sounded a little crazy at first, but the more I thought about it, the more I was sure it was a way to fix things up. I told Willie Goat having one horn made him special and unique. I told Willie to think about something, like when was the last time he saw a goat with one horn? I knew Willie Goat would say never, so I told Willie he was the world's first unigoat. Willie Goat's ears perked up when he heard that. His voice bubbled with excitement when he said,
You're right, Gabby Bear. Come to think of it, I am kind of special. I'll happily be the world's first unigoat.
Willie Goat stood on the hilltop, his chest puffed with his single horn pointing skyward. Then something magical happened. A beautiful rainbow formed in the sky. The rainbow's end rested on the tip of Willie Goat's horn. It glistened brightly with all the glowing colors. And then the strangest thing took place. The rainbow traveled down Willie's horn. The next thing I knew, his horn was all rainbow colored. The rainbow disappeared, but the pretty colors stayed on Willie's horn. We named it the Rainbow Horn. Indeed, Willie Goat is special, and for all practical purposes, he became the world's first unigoat. Well, that's my story about Willie Goat and how we got to be friends. By the way, Willie Goat never did go back to Farmer Grumble's place. He decided to live in the country with me. He spends most of his days showing off his rainbow horn. And when he's not doing that, he's helping me out when trouble arises in my adventures. So, it's goodbye for now. Hope you had a good time. I sure did. And remember, the next time you want to hear a fun and exciting story from Gabby Bear, just turn my magic button.
So that was Gabby Bear tell a story. Willie the first unigoat from 1985. So if you like, subscribe, share, and comment, and have a groovy day. And our next book will be Gabby Bear tell the story. Robin Raven goes nutty.